But then there's the other ones where there's this article of this person that I feel like this would get Tucker Carlson. For the real Tucker Carlson would not be happy if he heard this article. He goes, I'm trying to raise my kids homosexual and I never even have to say gay. So it's this woman that's being like, why do we raise our kids? You know, and she basically says that, you know how we be like, oh, he's going to be a little lady killer. So she has her like son and she's like, oh, he's going to be a little ass fucking killer. This guy's going to bum so many dudes.
It's so weird. It's on Yahoo Sports.
And what's that?
This is on Yahoo Sports.
Yeah.
Well, sports are a big
so
part
there
of our
are
culture.
out there the other way around where she's like, you know, you girl, you go, oh, she's gonna eat so much bugs, dude.
Dude, I mean, that's weird, dude. That is weird when you want to make your kid have a sexual orientation, you know, unorganically.
Well, she's like, we'll make this the base level because we'll normalize this. And you go, okay, but it's not the base level. It's like 1 in 30 people.
Yeah, well, and that's why whenever there's a trans kid, I forget which comedian said this joke. I read it on Twitter, though. But having a trans kid is like having a vegan cat. You know who's making that
Sam
decision.
Morril, I think.
Yeah, somebody. I forget. Yeah, but, you know, you know the parent is making that decision. It's not the kid. You know what I mean? And that's the same with, like, the gay thing. It's like the fact that you want to engineer your son to be a homosexual.
Yeah, like when they're like 5 or something.
That's a
well,
little
they're sort of
much.
saying like, well, why is the base level straight? And you just like, really, you don't know?
It
It kind of reminds me of that thing I was saying where he's like, I remember a few years ago saying to someone like, oh, the person sounded like a gay guy or whatever, right? And they go like, what is that? What do you mean? And it sounds like, and you go, are you mental?
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Curb Your Enthusiasm.
You don't know what a
had
gay guy sounds like?
But Ryan, Curb Your Enthusiasm had a great episode where, you know, he gave the kid a sewing kit because he knew the kid was gay.
Yeah,
and the parents
yeah.
like, why would you do that?
And you know, yeah, exactly. You go, what are you? I gotta. It's
But
like
yeah,
that
he's
thing
trying
where
to be supportive. You know, Larry David was like trying to lean in, you know, be supportive to
Yeah.
the gay kid, and the parents like, what? So yeah, that's kind of where we are. It's like you're racist if you do, you're racist if you're racist if you don't. It's really
and you're
weird.
a groomer if you go.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay, so then Danny sent the thing the other way that there's like some GOP like bill.
This is in Tennessee, yeah.
In Tennessee,
this is
basically.
yesterday.
Yeah, so basically there's in Tennessee, they're saying they're going to do this alternative to marriage where you could get married with this certificate instead of being right?
I'm kind of anti-marriage.
Well, the Tennessee bill wanted to eliminate age requirements for marriage.
Well, but that's
that's
not
weird.
what happened. What happened was there's a different way you can get married that's not through like the state or whatever.
Yeah, not through
but
the-
it
See,
still
that sounds
counts.
good.
But apparently they forgot to leave off that. They left off that pesky age
They left off
requirement.
the age, which then I learned that California has absolutely no marriage.
Oh, of course they do.
There's
so
no
like a
age
50-year-old
groomers.
can marry a 12-year-old.
Okay, so the rule in California, there are hundreds of thousands, in the last 20 years, there have been hundreds of thousands of 12-year-olds in America married. Okay?
Yeah, I saw that
could
too.
not fucking believe that. And I
What?
went,
Yeah.
I
Who are they
went-
married to though? Like, is
So
this like
they're-
some weird religion or
So
something?
Yeah, it has
it's
to
probably
be.
a religious
Mormon
thing.
or
They
a
have
weird
to be
thing.
pregnant. So that's the rule, basically. They have to have parental consent.
Are they marry older people or?
And be pregnant? Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
you
they're
think a
not marrying
12-year-old
another
girl's marrying a
12-year-old.
9-year-old
No,
boy?
I'm thinking if they're both under 18,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
there's
yeah,
some,
yeah.
like,
I'm sure there's
like
some-
I understand
That
like
probably happens, but that's not.
Dude, no, but if you go, hey, these two 14-year-olds that got married and they were both 14, it's a little different from this 12-year-old married like a 80-year-old.
Yeah,
yes,
that's what's happening.
yes to that. That is a case where it's like maybe a 16-year-old marrying a 12-year-old.
Okay.
Because they're super traditional or whatever. And but there are 12-year-olds, as long as the parents give consent. In a lot of instances, like in not every state, most states are not this case, but in California, you're like technically, I guess, in any, I don't know, it's for any age.
Well, that's the problem with libertarianism. I'm sure you guys have a lot of friends that are libertarians, and they're like basically almost like anarchists. They don't want any rules, and for them, they don't want age of consent laws. So that's kind of it's weird. A lot of
Well,
people
wouldn't
don't
their
want that.
argument to be okay? So I feel like if you said,
well, their argument would be if there's grass on the field,
Yeah,
play
play
ball.
I think their argument would be like, well, it'd be up to the community to decide what
Yeah.
that. I mean, you
I
go.
imagine
There's
they're
no
like,
there's no
you know,
such thing as marriage. So it's like if there's no such thing as marriage, like people can make their own contracts, but pedophilia would still be illegal based on their whatever laws of the community, right?
I guess, but then
Wouldn't that kind of be the argument?
But then you'd have to ask, what is the number? Like, what is considered pedophilia?
Yeah.
12,
Yeah.
13,
Well,
14?
it says right here,
And then that's like
Well, that'd be every community, which
Yeah.
they already do have, right? There's different age of consent laws. You were naming them off before the show started.
New York 17, California
Yeah,
12 or whatever.
You're asking, it's a tricky, party trick you do. No, sorry, I misspoke here. There's 90% of them are between 16 and 17, but there is a rule if there are 12-year-olds who are getting married
Weird.
in America. which is fucking crazy.
Mm.
Even if
in America,
dude, even if a
yeah.
12-year-old's marrying an 18-year-old, where you go, okay,
Well,
they're both under. You're still.
But how
like,
is that not illegal though? You can't have sex with them
Because
when you go to jail.
Well,
You
because
can't have sex when you're married.
The parent, yes.
What?
Yes,
The
you get
mar-
married,
the-
you
so
can't have
the
sex with them
marriage-
underage.
You can have sex
What-
with a 12-year-old
If you're married to- yes.
to them, that kind of like removes that thing.
Dude,
And then
R.
as long
Kelly
as the
did
pa-
this. He like married
as long as
Aaliyah
the
or whatever.
parent-
Yo, these are all groomers. That's how it
Well,
starts.
R.
The
Kelly
next thing you know.
R. Kelly was a groomer,
Yeah.
dude. He like peed on
why didn't he
12-year-old
marry
kids.
them?
Well,
He
he
did. Well, he
should
tried
have.
to
And
marry
one of them, I think,
Aaliyah.
Aaliyah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he married
married
Aaliyah when she was like 13.
Yeah.
That was this loophole.
So you
Where as
can
long
bang
as
her.
you get the parental consent, then you can marry them.
Yes,
Or whatever.
so-
And so I guess that's the thing. But the thing with the groomers is all these people calling groomers, they go on this, they go, yeah, I don't know. They're kind of silent on this one, which is
There's
odd.
not everybody's a child groomer, but there probably are.
Most
some
people are not child
Well, and then
groomers.
you guys are from Canada, you know. But Drake was sending all those messages to Millie Bobby Brown. That's kind of weird when she was.
But
like,
he says they're
underage.
friends. I don't know.
He's kind of grooming her to fuck when she's 18. I mean, maybe
But
not.
were they, I saw them. I don't remember them being like.
Sometimes the grooming doesn't work. You try to
sexual.
groom and they're not interested. I mean, it's not always. It's not 100% success
Yeah,
rate.
sometimes we've failed.
My
groomings.
theory is that the same way that the liberals figured out they can call people racist and it's effective. I think that conservatives
Yeah.
think that calling people groomers is effective.
It's their Nazi. It's like the mask.
Yeah,
That's
it is.
the
Yeah,
reason
yeah,
why I
yeah.
think that, like, I don't even believe that people saying it believe it as much as I think that they think that, like, oh, I think we're onto something here.
Yeah, I think it's they saw a lot of people being like, "We're not fucking groomer." Like they got really took it offensive, and they go, "All right, we hit a nerve here."
That's exactly what they did. It's
follow
just, you
this.
know, it's just effective. People are like, oh, I'm not a groomer, but, you know, I want to teach my kids all about sex. And, you know, there's that Libs of TikTok video where, like, we're not allowed to have
This
gay
guy loves
flags.
Libs of TikTok.
It's my favorite account. They're like,
Yeah.
we're not allowed to have gay flags. And he has, like, gay suspenders, gay socks, and he has, like, a gay bow tie, you know,
Okay.
because he can wear it, but he can't have it in his room. So, yeah, I mean, there is some grooming. There is some sort of weird stuff going on. But as the right says, like, no, it's not as prevalent as they say. And not everybody's a Nazi, like the left says. There's a really gray area.
And then there's the Venn diagram overlap of the Nazi groomers. Those are
that
those are a
exists.
fuck-
Well, I
those
would
two
say
are
it's
fucked up.
Yeah, but it's like, yeah, not everyone. I would even go more like it's like, yeah, very few people
It's
are
almost
Nazis
no
and
one.
very few
It's
people.
almost no one
for
for
both.
for both,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like I don't think I've ever met anyone that's like, you know, trying to bang a 12-year-old.
No, not openly. I don't know anybody like that. I mean, I wouldn't. be
Actually,
friends
we
with
did
them.
know that one comic that was like getting the child porn.
Yeah, in Toronto.
Well, Anthony Cumia does love young chicks. Speaking of somebody we do know, but-
Not
Yeah,
12.
but
No, not
he likes
12.
in there,
I'm not calling
30,
that.
He like 25 or 30.
I didn't think he like 17 to 18, but I think that's
This guy's going to compound right
Yeah, I
after
know.
this.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, Anthony. I think went to a girl's prom at 17. I mean, that's kind of young. I mean, I would, dude. I might.
You
I'm
just
not,
say it to his face in 5
I will.
minutes.
I will. I'll say just say. But I'm saying,
This
I'm
is
not
gonna be. We're gonna follow. Boyscast is gonna follow Alex over to compound for the
Yeah,
bus.
we're
We're gonna get this style.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I'm gonna get a
We're gonna
selfie,
hop out
Ethan
of the
Ralph
fucking
style.
Boyscast fan.
Dude, I want it for the clout and for the internet content to get beat up by Anthony Cumia. But, well, gosh, now I forget my point. But regardless, it happens. You guys are
That's what
Not
I like to
everybody's-
do.
not
I like to.
everybody's groomers.
We like to have people on the boys, guys, and then derail them. You were saying
Yeah.
something about Anthony Cumia.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying he's not necessarily a groomer, but like on a dating app, like I wouldn't even put a girl under 21. You know, I mean, I don't even.
And
drink
you wouldn't
really.
probably kiss unless you're married.
Well, I mean, but I'll fuck. I just won't kiss because that's passionate. But what I'm trying to say is, like, you know, there is a mental maturity of somebody you want to date that's like, you know, similar to your level. You don't want to
Yeah.
date like children, even if they're of age. You know.
Well, but yeah, I think that like when you say 18 or whatever, like whatever the thing is, I mean, that's an adult. And I think that you're probably right that you don't want to date someone. I mean, I don't want to date someone that's 20 years old.
Yeah.
But I don't think you're a groomer for wanting to bang someone.
No,
that's 20
exactly.
years
Definitely
old.
not. You're not, because I want to bang a 20-year-old. Definitely. You know what I mean? I have. But I'm just saying that's not illegal. But I don't even want to date that person because they're not even the
Yeah,
same.
it's
We're
different
not. We're
life.
just
Different
different
life.
wavelengths.
Oh,
Yeah,
dude,
yeah.
you're going to be like on Tuesday night, be like, oh, something. They'll be like, dude, we're going to this freaking club and blah, blah, blah. And
Snorting coke all night or whatever.
Yeah, and also,
Oh, you got to bring
my
a 20-year-old
teacher-
to the bowling thing?
Dude, having your teacher like tell you about their college professor is such an asshole. Yeah, this is nonsense.
Oh,
yeah,
for
that's
sure.
funny.
Them
yeah.
going through every new phase, you know.
And
what
you
I mean?
feel weird if you have like a girlfriend, you're like in your 30s, and your girlfriend's like, yeah, I can't come out, I have to study for an exam. And you're like, All right.
You guys are giving me the Michael Scott vibes, when he lied about going to college. He's like, yeah, we partied with our professor every night, because like, in every college movie, you're always like getting shit-faced with your professor, but that's not how it ever is,
It's funny. I had one cool teacher in high school who he was probably like when I was in 10th grade, he was 25. Probably, but in hindsight, you don't even realize he's like you think he's older, but he was probably like 25 years old. He was new, and then like there were like two of them actually, and then you just turns out they all were just like banging all the 18-year-old students. Like you find out after the fact that
we had a football coach that was banging a teacher, and we had also had this teacher Matt Malcolm who was like so cool that like he was the one teacher in when I was in high school. We like took the lunch and went to find out like he was the biggest pothead stoner ever. But we had no idea then
at the time, because they get fired if
there was. So I just did this show in Nashville with Danny, and then this girl in the crowd, she said that in New Jersey, she went to a school and two of the girl teachers ended up were banging male students, and two different ones got fired for that.
Well, dude, if you go on
that's how much of legends dudes in New Jersey are.
Yeah, but I read Daily Mail every day. I'm telling you, it's more prevalent of the women teachers sleeping with the boys.
I think it's because the women teachers low key are like, I could probably get away with this. Whereas I think a dude being like, let me bang like an 11-year-old, he's like, yo, I am rolling a dice.
You know what's actually crazy is I had my English teacher in high school in like probably I think 12th grade. She like it was known that she had sex with a student, and I don't think that student was 18 because with the guys that I was talking about, those girls were 18. Like they were 18 at the time because we had 5 years of high school.
Some states have a law though, even if they're 18, if they're a student.
If they're a student, yeah. And no, it's pretty sure.
But back then they might not have had that law.
It was the case then. That's why it was like super low key. I just found this out because my friend was friends with one of these girls, and then you found out after the fact. But at least they were like 18 or whatever, right?
Sometimes the guys will get married to them after.
Yeah, but this woman definitely was still a teacher, and everyone was like, yeah, she had sex with a kid like 10 years ago, and got in a lot of trouble for it, but then like was allowed back.
She probably should have got a different profession, but I mean, what are you gonna do? She was a great teacher.
She was actually not a bad teacher.
I think she's
a career teacher. Yeah,
find out everything that we go do a.
Did you try to
synopsis of her and then get more of her? They go, "What's your thing?" And she's like, "Dude, I think that every female teacher it should essentially be school for men should essentially be history and tug." History and tug.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, online, it's a lot of women teachers sleeping with their male students. That's
because if you're a dude, you're like, I'm basically branded as a pedophile sex offender who's for sure going to jail, life completely ruined. Whereas like
chick,
your life
is,
if you're a chick, you're like, your life's not ruined. Yeah, you might go to jail. You might like maybe go to jail for 6 months.
But then you'll get a job 10 years later teaching Danny.
Imagine you're the chick and you have to go introduce yourself to your neighbors as the sex offender, and they go, yeah, whatever.
What are you
doing later? Like, I don't know. Nice to meet you.
Well, do you guys see the stories where it's like a mom slept with her son's friends? That's real prevalent too. Where it's like mom got gangbanged by kids.
Sure it's a sensitive topic for him.
Sorry, Danny. I didn't mean to bring that up.
So, thank you for watching that clip, supporting the channel. If you like the Boyscast, there's a new episode every week at patreon.com/theboyscast.
That's patreon.com/theboyscast.